Hi, it's Dr. Minette Riordan here. Happy Friday afternoon. We got some funky light going on. You can see me glowing. I am here with another adventure in Heartwise parenting. Maybe if I move over here, I'll make everybody dizzy. Another adventure in Heartwise parenting. It is Friday, April the 1st, and I had a very interesting day today and something that I want to talk to you guys about. April Fool's Day. No jokes played on me today. Hope you didn't have any played on you. No sugar in the salt shaker or vice versa. But I started my day off today. I did 8 radio interviews and they were all in home. I was in my pajamas. It was kind of a cool way to work. So it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my pajamas. I got my coffee. Didn't have to be dressed or go anywhere. I love working that way. So I was available from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. this morning, and I was on 8 different call-in shows all over the country. Only one was here in Texas, and it was like way down in McAllen somewhere. The rest, literally, New York, California, everywhere. So all these morning talk shows. And the topic of the morning was this new breast milk baby. Have you heard about this? It's been all over the news. I posted on the North Texas Kids Facebook page yesterday, raising a ton of controversy. So I want to talk about it a little bit, kind of share my opinion, and I would love to have some feedback and some conversation about what your opinions are and why it is so controversial. So, first of all, if you don't know what it is, let me tell you a little bit. So, it's a baby doll, supposedly aimed at 8-year-old girls. And it's a just typical baby doll, except that the little girl puts on this little halter top made out of this cute little pattern fabric. And it has two little flowers that go right here over her nipples, right? And the little girl holds the baby up to her breast as if she were nursing the baby. And then the baby makes these suckling sounds. Go to their website or just go Google breast milk baby on YouTube, and you will see all kinds of videos and demonstrations and people ranting and lots of comments about it. So, first of all, I just want to be very clear that breastfeeding is perfectly natural, normal, beautiful. It's what we've been doing for eons and eons in every other country except for this one. It is so normal. And women shouldn't have to hide at home in the closet to feed their babies. It's what our breasts were made for. We have gone way overboard in worrying about breastfeeding and is it being something wrong when really all the doctors, all the research, everything says the healthiest thing for your baby is to breastfeed your baby. And hopefully you're not 12 years old and breastfeeding your baby, which is what people think is going to happen if their daughters buy this doll. Well, first of all, a couple of things. And also, I just want to be very clear, no judgment on you if you choose not to breastfeed. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that with both my kids, but I had friends who really struggled, who couldn't do it for a variety of reasons. What we want is to raise happy, healthy kids, and we all do that in absolutely the best possible way that we can. So please don't think that I'm trying to judge or preach, but I do think that breastfeeding is natural. If we can do it, we should. If we can't, we also shouldn't feel guilty about it and beat ourselves up and think we're bad moms because we don't, right? There's amazing dialogue that definitely needs to happen around this topic. But let's forget about moms for a minute and talk about our 8 and 9 year old daughters. What would it feel like to watch your 8 or 9 year old daughter breastfeeding a baby? It might feel kind of weird. The marketing is really bugging me on this product. First of all, the doll is $89. $89 for a little piece of technology that kids really don't need because kids are so creative and so imaginative. There is nothing more normal and natural for a young child, and I'm talking 4, 5 years old, 3 years old, maybe six at the oldest, especially if she's got younger siblings or even little boys might be doing this. If they see mommy nursing a baby and that's totally what's normal in their household, it's going to be very natural for them to pick up a doll or even a stuffed animal and pretend like they're feeding the animal or the doll as well. It's what we model is what our kids learn. The conversation that needs to happen here is, what do you value? What do you want your kids to learn? I had my daughter, my 9 year old daughter, watch the video with me, and I didn't preface it. I didn't prep her. I didn't tell her anything about it. I just said, hey, come and watch this with me. I'm curious to see what you think. So we watched it together. She looks at me and she's kind of looking and she's watching the video and she's looking at me. And I'm like, well, what do you think? She's like, it's weird. That was her reaction. It was weird. A 9 year old girl, 8 to 9 year old girl, a tween, is just coming into her body. She's already starting to feel awkward and gangly. She's starting to flourish as a young woman, and she's extremely self-conscious and very conscientious about how she looks at this point in her life. And the thought of her being at all interested in a doll like this is really kind of ridiculous. But, I was curious, what's going on here? What's the conversation that needs to happen? I said, well, we have our friend that has a newborn and you've seen her nurse. And she's like, but yeah, she's a mom, duh. Kind of, she's like, come on, mom, what's the point here? And so for her, there was no attraction to using this doll at all. She totally gets that nursing is normal and natural, and moms do it, but certainly she wasn't drawn to doing it all. Like I said, I can see a really young girl being totally enamored, that's still playing with baby dolls and thinking this is very charming. But it all comes back to, what do you want your daughters to know? What do you want to model for them? What's the conversation that you're having? I don't want my daughter growing up that they're thinking that there's something wrong with her or with her body. And I certainly wouldn't beat her over the head and say, you absolutely have to breastfeed. It's about what works for her. Well, who knows what kind of mom she's going to be. I don't think that 9 to 12-year-olds are going to be at all interested in this product. I only imagine them going, ooh, gross, don't want to think about that, not yet. So, what is it that you're telling your kids about all of this? Make sure you're telling them about what you believe and what's important to you. That's about being a heart-wise parent, is understanding what your family values are and communicating those in a loving and caring way to your kids so that they will model those values as well. To me, that's what's most important about this in the conversation it brings up. First of all, again, the marketing was kind of odd. The doll itself, the little halter thing was kind of weird. For me, it's not even so much about the breastfeeding. It's about the marketing and what are they trying to sell our kids, and remembering that we're in control. We're in control of what our kids play with, what our kids eat. It's up to us to guide our kids to the things that are important to us. And that's all I have to say about that topic. So have a conversation with your kids this weekend about values, not about breastfeeding, but about values. What's important is nurturing and being loving and kind, and being very health conscious. If those things are important to you, have that conversation. Talk to your kids when they're ready, when they ask questions. It feels a little bit like a product like this is just trying to force something on a kid instead of letting it happen very naturally. It's all about imaginative play. Let these things unfold naturally. We don't need toys and technology teaching our kids. We as parents need to be responsible for educating our kids. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan with another rant in my adventures in Heartwise Parenting series. Spend some time just talking to your kids this week. It's all they really want. Have a great weekend, and I will be back on Monday. Happy April Fool's Day.